Hey, what's happening? How are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here. I am Chris of the world famous Cool Cars with Chris, man. You clicked on the right show at the right time. And on today's fabulous episode, Courage went on a little cruise driving all around San Diego. This was hosted by Avant Car Club. And he took his car with a bunch of other cool cars where they went, what cars were available in the group, and what he did on that drive. You'll hear about that. And you might know that I had a Nissan 370Z sports car. In fact, I originally wanted to buy a 350Z sports car, and before that, I wanted to get a 300ZX sports car. So we are also talking about Nissan Z sports cars. Both of us have owned Z sports cars in the past, and possibly we might buy another one. Well, maybe. We'll see. Find out on this episode. Plus, speaking of cool cars and having a cool car, what is the psychology involved when it comes to daily driving your favorite car versus if you have, like, say, a fun weekend car that you only take out on the weekends? Does taking your favorite car out every single day to work, groceries, wherever, all the time, does it lose its luster if you're always in it all day, every single day? Well, find out all about that and more on this episode. Let's go. All right, we are live with video for the first time, doing it here on with Cool Cars with Chris. I got Courage. How you doing today, buddy? I see you now. How you doing?
Good, man. This is cool. First video podcast. This is pretty. This is a good situation. I like it.
Yeah, man. So, truth be told, Courage was not flying down here on his private jet or his hot little sports car, driving down here every single night. Truth be told, no, we did this remotely. So, when you do things remotely like this with video, you obviously can see. That's one thing about audio is that, like, nobody really knows. You know, the magic of radio. Nobody knows that you're not here with us. So, but anyways, how are you doing today, buddy?
Yep, man. It's been a good Sunday. It was kind of a chore day. Was doing a lot of stuff just around the house that has been gotten put off for a while. So was doing a lot of that. But it's been a good weekend. I had a cool little event on Saturday that I went out to.
Oh, really?
Nice
Where'd you go, man? Where'd you go?
We went. So I had an option of two different drives that were going on that I, at the last minute, decided on one that was more favorable. But the In Club, SoCal In Club, shout out to those guys. We're doing a drive up in Big Bear, actually. Up like
How
through
far
Big Bear.
is that from your place?
That's an hour and about hour and 20.
Oh, really?
To get there. Yeah. And on top of that, they were starting to drive at 8:00 in the morning. So that meant I would have had to, like, be gone by 6:30 or so to make it there, which again, it's not like
leave
terrible,
your house at 6:30 in the morning.
And then 2 hours worth of drive. Like, you know, we're gonna drive. Drive all through there, and then I had to drive another hour and a half back, depending on traffic. So, as much as I want to go, I mean, I saw pictures. It looked like it was actually a little bit of snow still on the peaks and everything.
Oh, that's right. It's so hot down there. I keep forgetting it's snowing everywhere. It's supposed to be wintertime.
Yeah. Do you know how hot it got up here yesterday?
Did it crack 100? Did it crack 100?
No, it was that. It was. I heard that it did crack 100 in some parts of California, which is not normal during the wintertime. But it was about 90 here, like 90, 91 or so in Temecula. And so,
wow,
it was a little weird, but, you know, we still managed. But I ended up actually going on a drive. I actually started out down in Spring Valley area.
You drove all the way down here?
Down the Spring Valley, which was only an hour. It was actually only like 55 minutes or so. So, you know, saved myself 30, 40 minutes driving to the location. But the cool thing was that it was back through, we went up through like Sunrise Highway, up to Julian, and then came back to this cool little like garage, like bar kind of thing right off of the 79, Highway 7. It's called Garage 79.
Interesting. I've been through that route many, many times. I'm trying to imagine where it is.
It's literally just one bar out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of almost like, if you remember like that scene in Fast and the Furious, except, you know, not the same setting where they're right on the beach, but just this little, you know, kind of cool little shack style.
And they sold food there too, or is it just like
food? Got some really great Mexican food, tacos, burritos.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Yep.
I gotta get out there and start doing that stuff, man. I gotta get out there and, you know, gosh, we're only on a car though. Anyways.
Yeah, I know we're gonna talk about that for sure, but No, but it was cool. It was a good group of folks, very diverse car group. So, I could have went out and drove with the in cars, but it was great, kind of doing that. And it was cool too because the loop basically brought me back home. So,
Oh, that makes sense too. Imagine if you went all the way around and came back down to San Diego. You like
yeah.
started here, stopped here, got to drive back home.
hmm
Well, I'm sure the same thing happens for other people that came out here. So how many were they all in cars or were the other cars too?
No, so this one was like a whole diverse group. It was, some Porsches. It was a cool guy I met there with a pretty new like 911 Carrera 4S or
You see the
something.
price on those? I was
Oh
looking
my
those up.
goodness.
I was looking at those
Yeah.
today. I don't know how when I'm looking at cars like the Porsches keep coming into the feed, and I'm like,
hmm
150,000. What's this thing? Oh yeah, check that
They're
out.
calling you.
Yeah, 911s are like. I see the cheapest one I saw was like just about 100 grand, maybe 101. I forget what year it was, but it was another 911.
People
So
love them, man. They say once they say it's like it's not a matter of when, but or not a matter of if, but when you'll like make that jump into one if you're like, a car enthusiast. I don't fully agree. I think there's other cars that scratch the itch that, 911s made, but I think that, there is something special about that formula that they've been literally sticking to their
they
entire
stick to that
existence.
entire design since
Yeah.
forever. We saw one today. It was a 69 911.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at
Oh
it.
shoot.
It looks pretty old, obviously, but then that whole design is the same. I mean, similar to today, a newer one for the most part. But that was pretty
Yep.
cool. You went out there, drove around. Now, when you guys go on a cruise like that, you guys have to stay in uniform, stay together in a group, almost like a funeral procession. Is it like that? I think I just like that.
You try. Like it is kind of like that where you do want to, initially we start out that way. You try your best, especially if there's any freeway or city driving.
With
is
lights
like the
getting caught,
hardest.
someone gets caught in the light.
Yeah, getting stuck at lights and things is like the easiest way to just get broken up. And we definitely did. I actually missed our exit getting off when we got off onto the back road to get to the 79. But luckily, a lot of those exits still, they find their way back. They gave us a good GPS route to make sure we got back. And so I made my way back, but there was really just like a group of maybe like three of us for a while. And then we ended up, once we got to Julian, we all regrouped and then we ended up making it
so
to
you had the spot. You knew exactly where you're going to be at though, right? So it wasn't hey, we're going here, figure it out, meet us there when you get there. But everybody kind of knew. And you guys waited for everybody to get there though too? When you're all done, when you guys get there?
Yeah,
okay.
we hung out there. We stayed there for probably a good hour and a half or so, just kind of hanging out and meeting people, getting to chat and everything. So once we made it to the destination, we all pretty much rolled in within about 15 to 20-ish minutes from each other. So, that I'd say that was a pretty successful drive for how long the drive was.
Now,
Because
did anybody have to get gas though? How's it work?
well, that I was gonna say that, yeah, because there were two guys there that had some absolutely insane builds. There were 240 SXs, different generation.
My favorite.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, one of my
really?
favorite, one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm thinking 240Z. But yeah, the SXs. Yeah, I haven't seen those in a while. But
Yeah.
yeah. So those are like little four bangers, right?
Well, they had some things. The one dude went the full sleeper build, where on the outside you'd think oh, it's just this guy's little drift build or something. Just slap some paint here and there. He told me that he dynoed pretty much about 600 horsepower on E85, and
yeah.
going, and that was the thing. So him and his buddy who came, they both had highly tuned 240s, and they both had to stop off the E85. So. That was definitely.
There's places that have it now. A lot of stations have it now.
Yeah.
A lot of them do. I mean, when I was getting 85 for my truck a lot, I kind of knew the ones that had it. The Chevrons seemed to have it. Some of the Arcos had it. A lot of the Chevrons I knew had it. And so I would find the ones that did, and I would just go there, and stuff and find my spot. But if I had to do a route and required E85, the entire route, like a destination drive like you just did, I would have to. I don't know how you. I don't know if is there an app for that to figure out where the E85.
I'm sure
stations?
that I know that there is, and I'm sure they knew because they told us right on the drive. They were like, yeah, we're probably going to have to take a slightly different route to go fill up. And so, yeah, when you get out to those areas like Pine Valley and some Alpine,
yeah, I don't know if they have it out that way. Now, how many cars in total would you say?
I think it was probably about 20-ish. Yeah, probably about 20 cars. So it was when we were making that final kind of drive up to the restaurant, to the place, it was a long, straight road, and we came down this one hill, and you could see all of the cars that were in our group, and then you really kind of saw the scale of just the amount of cars with us. So that was a pretty cool little situation.
What was the cost to join to do this? Was it free or how did?
This was free. Yeah, it was an Avant event, which Avant is like they've done this in different markets throughout the US, but they've just kind of opened up a San Diego kind of division of Avant.
Now they're
And
detailing, right?
no, so they have a Elite Finish is like one of the large like detailing shops here in San Diego, but one of the guys that used to work for Elite Finish is actually the one who's spearheading the Avant San Diego group. And so it is a membership to kind of be a part of this kind of car club in a sense, but their whole kind of marketing play is that you actually do get like legitimate discounts from Michelin. They give packages for all of like the auto detail, like griots and those kind of like auto detail car care companies, and then on top of that they let you know of like kind of events that they're putting on, like these drives. And that was actually how I went to the Doug DeVille's
Right,
little
that was your
thing,
ticket in
so.
there. That was your golden ticket.
Yeah,
Mr. Hollywood over here.
yeah.
Get all the press passes for all the cool events, man. Well, that's
Yeah.
super cool, man. Did the kiddos go? Did the wife go? Just you by yourself?
No, this was just me. It was, just this solo drive. I needed. We definitely wanted to have us a fun little drive, and so and the little ones didn't wake up in time anyway. So, no, it was lone wolfing it this time around. I say whenever in my videos when it's like not the kids in there, it's like it's the Driven Dad solo series for a little bit, but.
Yeah,
Blessed that the wife let me get out for a little bit and have some fun. And no, it was a cool little day for sure.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Take your car out and drive it and have some fun with it. I know that you do these events. You do take your car on drives like this and events like this. Do drive your car around a lot. How often do you ever take it to like work, like drive for like normal drive, not like fun driving, but like regular, got to go somewhere kind of drives?
To like commute. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it really, to be honest, like, I do drive to where I'll get to that, but like really, honestly, I drive it literally everywhere. Like it's the grocery getter. It's it's the just, go to the beach car. Like we have one other car, but this car does like so much that I tend to use it all the time.
Okay. You still
But
enjoy it though, right? That's my
and
point.
yeah,
That's what I'm getting at.
it's pretty weird that like, yeah, you a lot of times when you drive something all the time, you get a little jaded. Like you don't
Right.
really enjoy getting in it as much as you do it all the time. But it just has, such dual personality where, you can be chill and just commute in it, which I do commute down to San Diego a couple times out of the week. So I'll do that. But I also, every once in a while, I have to go out to like job sites. Like I work
And you take
for
that car. You don't take.
yep, I take that car out.
They don't give you a company car for that. They don't give you something like that.
No, I get mileage. I have a company car, and then I get mileage reimbursement. I used to get mileage reimbursement, but now because it's like sort of ingrained in like the whole payment structure, they don't do that anymore. But
they just like it's part of your income now. So it's like part of my your salary.
That's
is
how
like
companies do.
that's how they do it these days.
They call it a mileage allowance or something like that.
But you do keep track of that still, or how's that work?
No, so they'll just determine it kind of based on like if I was having to travel, say like every week or something like that, they would just increase the mileage allowance. So because I only travel out periodically, say once or twice, like, a quarter or something like that, that's they set that as like, okay, this is how much you would be spending, if you're commuting out and using your own car or if you were renting a car or something like that.
Okay. You rent cars a lot. See, I know you told me that you love that Turo.
I used to do that a lot. Yeah. I used to do that a lot, especially for work trips. I used to use Turo. I haven't done that in a while. I've been kind of itching to have an excuse to do that. But it just, I just haven't had any reason to as of late. But
did they give you a cap on that for work? Like how much you can spend on Turo per car?
Yeah.
You can't get like a new Vet or a Porsche or something like that. You can't. It's like,
plus, I'm going out to these like work sites that like
it's all dirt and dust.
It's all dirt and dust and everything. The last thing you want to do is
I wouldn't take my own car out there either. I don't think I'd want to take, I mean, my truck, it's 4-wheel drive, but even still, I don't want to get all filthy and I mean, it's got some battle scars and stuff too, but yeah, I mean, I like to keep it clean.
That's the one thing is that it's usually not that bad with like the dust as long as it's not like raining and everything. But I did have one trip that I came back from Arizona where I came back and it was right after they had like a bunch of rainstorms out there. And so I drove through like these areas where it was like super muddy. And the even like the job site itself, they had just kind of regraded everything because the rain was so bad. When I got back, like the inside of my wheel well was just coated with just all of this like thick mud and everything.
And your tires are they summer tires or are they like regular tires?
They are. The Pilot Sport 4S tires are pretty kind of dual use. Like you can use them in some kind of wet weather and still get some decent performance out of them. But they are a summer tire at the end of the day. So like if it's a really like heavy weather situation, you probably don't want to be driving on them.
Right. I was thinking like the dirt and stuff and getting kind of traction because some of those tires are pretty slick and they're designed for like the track and street rate use. Like I wouldn't be taking them on job sites. Really, really ground.
Well, they do a lot. Like they really like a large budget. Actually, like a lot of these projects is like really grading these sites so that like they can be used as like major roadways for like deliveries and all that stuff. Like it's not ideal. Like at the end of the day,
what you mean though. Yeah, it's almost it's like a really packed like dirt, almost like a clay,
super compacted. Yeah,
like a clay. But
you don't get a lot of loose mud patches and things like that.
Yeah, I remember I used to deliver out there to a lot of sites, and if it rained, we couldn't get out there because the trucks get stuck. We couldn't get close to you touch your front axle touches the job site, it just like sinks in. It's that clay mud. Yeah. It looks solid. You look at it, and then you go into it. Nope, and they had to back out of there. But
it's like we ain't getting this delivery or whatever today. So,
but the thing is with your car though, like if you use your car for everything, you don't think you're going to be getting sick of it, like driving for fun things too.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a valid question. I mean, I'm going on actually 3 years. I think 3 years of owning the car now. Because 22. Yeah, so about 3 years owning the car, and I don't daily commute it. Like if I was like in Temecula, the San Diego traffic every single day,
yeah, 5 days a week.
5 days a week, like that would be a different story, but. The fact that, it's usually like once, maybe twice. I do go down to San Diego for other reasons, but it's usually not commuting to work. I think that lowers that, that whole mentality of like, I'm getting tired of sitting in this car too much. But
right. I think it also kind of sucks away some of the specialness out of it, I remember when I had my car, it was like that too. I started driving a lot for work, but for a while I was just driving on the weekends. And then driving the truck, but then I switched back to driving the car, and then driving the truck on the weekends. So the truck became special to me, So which it's kind of cool to have. You have multiple cars where you can kind of pull it off. If it's your only car, like someone has their only car and they're doing events like you just did, and they're commuting to Temecula, San Diego, and they're taking the groceries and the kids and soccer and what else I got to do. It's just like I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you kind of lose that luster. I think it's why a lot of people have. When they have their cool car, it's like their weekend car or whatever, their pride and joy, not something they drive every day. But there's situations where it is a car you drive every day. I don't know. There's a psychological thing about that, that.
So I'm definitely excited to eventually have something where, it is kind of more dedicated to like the special drives and things like that. I mean, weirdly enough, when I had my 300ZX, I actually dailied that car. I literally dailied that car. I was still in college, so I was like driving back and forth from like Mission Valley area to San Diego State, and I drove that car home multiple times from here to the Bay Area, packed deep with all of my stuff, and I probably in the time I owned that car over 6 years probably put like 100,000-ish miles, if not more.
You put 100,000 miles on it?
I think so. Yeah.
You did by yourself? Holy crap!
Yeah, I did a lot of driving in that car for sure.
What year was that one?
90.
No, so it was the first year or second year?
First year.
I thought 99 was the first year. Maybe it was 90. Okay, so first year, and it wasn't the twin turbo, was it?
No, it was the NA. If it was a twin turbo, that car wouldn't lasted as long as it did, because I did a lot of work on my own, but it was mainly just because the NA is a little bit more conducive to that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
But
how powerful was it? I mean, it's been a while since you've had it, but how does it feel like? I mean, not compared to your car, different car, totally different car. But when you drove it, how did it feel to you? I mean, I know it's not the turbo, but did it feel like it had power? I mean, because I've driven the Z31s before.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of imagine it feels a little better than that.
Compared to the Z31, especially like an NA, like the
Yeah.
Z32 definitely, even that felt like, peppier than the Z31. The thing about the NAs of the Z32s though is that they were linear power because they were, V6s and NA, but you're really not really getting into a lot of the torque until like, 3,000 RPM and above. It did get kind of shouty, which I did kind of like. I did have an exhaust on it, which was nice when they were when you were rev it out. But comparatively, like, knowing what I know now and like the power level I'm at with this car, it's like it was a different world. Like it was, I would have loved to have a twin turbo because those are more comparable power wise.
Can you like take a naturally aspirated 300ZX and add turbos to it?
Oh yeah,
You can do that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people. I've seen people both switch. They'll swap a twin turbo in because it's the same front end clip, so you can literally just swap.
Is it the same block, the same motor itself?
I think so. I think there's some slight differences in there because it's like the V. I forgot the whole like code name or whatever, but there's some slight differences and like some internals and different things like that that really make like the twin turbo what it is.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
Overall, they're the same size though. They're the same.
3 liter or whatever.
Yeah,
that sort of thing, dude. I think I've realized something that I think I'm a Z guy. Guy. I'm officially gonna make a shirt that says the Z guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I love the Z brand. I've driven many Zs and I've driven the Z31s a lot. My sister had one and friends had them and stuff. I never driven a Z32. So I was asking you about that. But I've driven a Z30, which was the Z33, which is the 350.
Was the 350.
Yeah. I've driven those around. And of course I've owned a 370. I've driven that around a lot. And I've got Z stuff
add a Z30. What do they call it? Z35?
I don't know if they do or not with the new one. I'm not even sure. Maybe I don't know. I haven't gone that deep into it. To tell you the truth, and those the new ones, the new Zs are kind of sitting on lots. They are selling, but they are seem to be like a high turnover rate because I've seen them used like a 2025 model, used 2024 model, used. I mean, you just got the thing, A lot of them used and things like that. And even with the used ones, you still want like 40, 50 grand, 60 grand or whatever for those things and stuff. So,
but when they started offering with manuals and they did have like a big kind of price discount, a lot of people were talking about it last year. They started to move a lot better than they did initially. But it's
harder to find a manual because even on every dealership's like automatic.
Yeah.
Or is it Nismo? Automatic. Whatever.
It's like, why? Like the Nismo should be the one.
Well, like I've been kind of like browsing,
Yeah, I definitely hear some stuff about this.
So I got this bug. I'm thinking like I miss my Z so much. I miss it. I know it had a lot of problems towards the end, and I spent a ton of money fixing it. I know I spent a ton of money fixing it. I needed before I sold the car, I had to put on new brakes. Well, that was the first thing I did because it squeaked a lot. I put new brakes on the thing, super expensive. Brembo's, rotors, all that. It was like $3,000 or some ridiculous amount of money. And then it needed tires. The tires were getting old. Needed new tires. Tires weren't that much. I think about it. They weren't not that much, but still had to pay for tires. And then it needed clutch. The clutch went out. That was the big job. It was like $3,000 for the clutch. The clutch went out on me. Slave cylinder. It was a 2011 370Z, and somewhere between the 2009, it first came out to like 2015 or whatever, they had issues with all that kind of stuff. Mine also didn't have an oil cooler on it either. So the oil temperatures did get hot quickly. I knew that too. And it got hot. And I was kind of like, when I took it in the canyons and it got to like 240 degrees oil or whatever, or 220, whatever it is. And also too,
sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say that was one thing that happened on this drive on Saturday that was
your oil temp got up?
Different. It got up to, I think, because climbing up those hills going up towards like Cuyamaca.
You're doing Pikes Peak, what you're doing, buddy.
I haven't done that for a while. And it got up to about like 89 and 90 degrees outside. And so, there were a couple points where I was at like about 235 to 240. and I
Do
had
you
to
know
like
the cutoff point on your car, or like it goes limp mode?
about like like a 260 is really like the top end. Like that's
Your
when
car will go limp mode. Do you know that?
yeah, like the gauge actually turns red. Like it'll show, like it'll turn the it'll change the like the numbering for your like both your if your engine temp and your oil temp are up high, like it'll go
Okay.
red, and it'll warn you at that point. Like 235, 240 isn't like bad for like, say, if you were on track and you had 240 oil temp, like that's not terrible.
Right.
But I think now I probably, not to derail for what you're talking about, but they said that going like a higher weight oil is probably beneficial. You'll probably get, a little bit better
Yeah.
heat
If you keep
management
yeah,
doing
it's
that.
thinning it down or whatever and stuff. So, but mine, I didn't have any issues with the oil, but it did get hot. But I didn't track the car. I didn't do anything crazy like that, But I have driven it, in the hills and stuff a few times and things like that. Things like you just did. Nothing too crazy. And it did get hot, whatever, and stuff like that. But what else did I fix in the car? I needed new plugs. I got that fixed. It started to need a lot of work. And at the time, I was married to my ex-wife, and I thought, well, why don't I know this new Z just came out, and I figured the new Z was being super overpriced. They were like marking those things up like crazy, the new Z. And I'm like, well, maybe I can sell mine and make some of my money back I spent on fixing it, whatever kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And even though I love the car, I loved it. I was like, man, if I could just sell it at top of the market right now, because everyone's looking for Z's because the new Z came out, then maybe. And then I still had a hard time selling. I thought I would sell it right away. I still had a hard time selling it. It wasn't like I got a ton of I got some low balls come through there.
Because what year was this? 23-ish or?
Oh no, my
was it-
Z, was
Yeah.
2011.
No, but what year were you trying to
sell it? It was whenever the new Z like officially hit dealerships, and they were like marking it up to like, I saw one on Instagram. I swear, I think it was like $150,000 or some ridiculous amount of money. Somebody posted like the window sticker or the dealer sticker from some dealership. It was like 150. It was like some ridiculous amount of money, and that's when I thought, like, well, if they're asking 150 for new Z, I want mine's in good condition. What if I can sell mine? And so, and besides, not to say I was getting bored with the car, but I think it was kind of like, I didn't have time to really do the fun drives like I used to. I was doing fun drives a lot. I didn't have time to do that a lot. It just we were traveling a lot for other stuff, and the car just became, to me at that point, just kind of became like a commuter car. I could literally just took it to work, and it was my drive back to work car. That's all it really became, and the truck on the weekends or whatever, either or. But it wasn't really like a fun spirited drive. I mean, once in a while I would take it out, but it wasn't like what you're doing kind of a thing, and stuff like that. I kind of miss that. And had I known about Cars and Coffee events back then, I would have been taking those things. I was actually looking to go joining a Z Club when I first got the car, and looked at the San Diego Z Club. But the thing is, they were meeting on like, I think it was like Thursday nights or some night that I had to work or something or whatever. And so I'm like, well, I can't even do that anyways. But had I known, Sundays, I would have been all over it, But
I was part of the ZCSD for a long time, and I hung out with. I still talk with a couple of those guys, kind of here and there, and they would use. I don't know if they still do, but they would meet over at this Denny's over in like Claremont Mesa area.
Like Oakland Boulevard. I thought somewhere around there. I know I saw something on their website about that, and I was like, oh, it'd be super cool to do that. I just never pulled the trigger on that stuff. And then what happened? I think Christina and I started doing podcast. Well, I had Podcastic Audio, but I think I started doing Podcastic Audio as a business, and I think I had a lot of other things kind of going on at the same time. So when I have a lot of different things happening at the same time, I kind of well, if I can sell it, make some money on it, I mean, do I need, it's not like my daily car. I don't, a lot of people have a car and they have that one car and they have to trade it in for the next car they drive, whatever. They need a car. I had two cars at that point. I had the truck, which is new, and I had the Z. And I didn't need like two cars at that time. So I'm like, you know what, maybe if I can sell it. And that's what I did. And this car was totally paid for, paid off and everything, although I got ripped off of that stupid deal when I bought the car. I never do that again. But, they sold me everything. When I bought the car, I had them throw everything at it. Every warranty, every gap.
Extended warranty.
All the crap in the world they threw on it. And it racked that total price tag up like way, way high. And I'm like, holy crap. I didn't think about it. I was focusing at the payment. I was like, whatever, But it got really, really high. But eventually I paid it off. I got some cash and I paid the car off early. And then so I had the car totally paid off, which is great, And I just sold the car. Now I kind of regretting not having a cool car. I go to these cool cars and coffee and talk to you, and you guys do your fun stuff. Dude, I want to be part of the cool kid club. I want to be able to do these fun things, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, my son has the Mustang. It's not really mine. It's his, I mean, and so it's fine.
That's definitely some cool bonding that you guys, I feel like that you guys have been able to do.
Oh, definitely.
I saw you post from today, actually. I think you might have made it over to one of the other, the Poway one.
We didn't stay very long, though, but we were there for like maybe the first hour that we left. But we were there, saw some cool stuff. Yeah, he was getting kind of bored. I think he was kind of bored. We saw some cool cars. There wasn't a lot of cars there, and he took some pictures. I think for him, it's more about like just go and see what else other cars are there, take pictures, check them out, and then bounce, or whatever. So that's kind of what we did today. But we've been doing that, and it's kind of fun to take his car over there because it's kind of a cool car, versus the truck. I mean, the truck's cool too, but I just don't feel like it's the same as a car, a cool car,
Well, I mean, you got some hardcore truck guys out there, man. I'm like, I remember when we went out to the Scripps Ranch one a couple weeks ago when you were eyeing that Bronco.
Oh yeah,
that classic Bronco, and obviously like those are a different realm too in terms of like what you can pay for those on top of like what it costs to like really like modify one of those too.
Oh, keep it going too and all that stuff too. So I mean, it's an e-car really. So, but lately,
cool.
lately I've been kind of getting the itch to get back behind the wheel of a Z.
Yeah.
Now, when my son bought when we bought my son his Mustang, the same day we were looking at a Z at the lot. They had a couple 350s. I told the story before, but I test drove one. It was an 03, which is like first generation 350. And I test drove it. It was fun. It was great. It took me back to amazing times enjoying the Z again. Now, I felt like my 370 was faster than that 350, and it should be. It's a newer car. The 370 is an evolution of 350.
Power did. There was a
and not only that, this was the first generation 350. So it had the DE motor. And it had less power, less torque, and it just seemed like, I mean, it was fun though. Don't get me wrong, it was a very fun car to drive. It was a blast. I got really comfortable with it. I loved it. It was great. Very notchy on the stick shift. Very, very easy to drive. I mean, it felt tight. I guess the shifter felt tight and all that stuff. So it was fine. I said, that's cool. But I didn't pick that up. So now I'm kind of regretting it because I went back to look at it and it was sold. I couldn't find it. It was gone. So I'm like, all right, whatever, and I started looking at, I had 370s. I wonder if I can find a 370. Let's look at 370s. Same thing. Look at 370s again. And surprisingly, the 370s, you think you see them everywhere. You think they're everywhere for sale. And they kind of are. Unfortunately, they're like ones with like salvage title or automatics or convertibles and automatics.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want any of that crap. What I want is
so is that like the worst combo? Is like a convertible and automatic?
Dude, okay. Convertible automatic Z.
Like, what would be your ranking of like?
Okay. A convertible automatic Z just screams that I want a cool looking car, but that's it. It could have a 4-cylinder in there. It could have 2-cylinder in there. They wouldn't care. The guy who buys that does not care what kind of engine that thing has or anything like that. They just want to just cruise, and especially the automatic ones. Like a Miata, for example. But Miatas are cool too, whatever, kind of the same deal.
Don't get an automatic Miata though. That's
do they even sell automatic Miatas?
I think they do because they sell automatic Miatas and then like BRZs,
oh, really?
FRS, GR. Like those two cars are like ones where it's like they just need to be a manual.
Well, that's the thing. So we'll go back to the Z. I'm trying to find one that's not a automatic, and there are a few in town. There are a few. And so there was two actually. One that was close by. The first one, I didn't look at it in person, but the first one, it was an 09, which is first gen. I'm like, I don't know what a first generation one. That's all the issues, they got to deal with. And so I'm like, I don't know, it's a stick shift. I don't know, whatever. It's not that far. Okay, it's priced low. Miles are kind of high like the other one. And this other one I looked at, it was newer. It was 2016, which is newer. And by 2016, they've already put an oil cooler on the car, Nissan by Nissan oil cooler. They've addressed whatever issues they had by 2015. So some of the issues that plagued the earlier ones got fixed by the time I got to 2016. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to head over there and check it out. I had some time on Saturday. I dropped my son off at practice or something. And then my other son and I went over there to the Mustang. So I had to find the place, found the dealership. and we use car lot, whatever. We go in there, pull into the driveway, see the place, pull in there, and the Z happened to be like right out front, which is usually sometimes you go to look at a car and they have them like buried in the back behind like a bunch of other cars. They got to move cars to get to the car you want to look at because it happened to be when I bought my Z. Funny thing, when I bought my Z, it was in front, but they had it buried by cars behind it, so you couldn't even like they had to like dig it out.
To like, that if I want to test drive this,
oh right, 100%.
To like.
Yeah, that's
everything.
Exactly what they did. But this one, the car was literally parked right in front of like their front window of their little office building or whatever they had there, kind of backed in. I was like, sweet. I told
Was it a Nissan dealership?
No, no, used car lot. Used car lot.
Gotcha.
And so the guy's total like blood in the water sharks. The guys come out, hey, how you doing? You want to buy today? Total blood in the water. Like, no, I'm the only one there. We could pull up in the Mustang, And say we just got this like a couple weeks ago, a month ago, or whatever. And I'm looking at the Z. I see the Z. Is this the Z I saw online right here? I'm just wondering, oh, yeah, that's it right here. I say, you have the keys? Can you check it out? And they say, oh, yeah, we'll get it. So the guy goes inside, talks to somebody else. I forget who. Gets the keys. And immediately I wanted to like, we were walking around the vehicle. Jacob and I were like looking around, like kind of like eyeing the vehicle from the outside without going inside or whatever. When he finally gets the car keys, he puts the car, I think he fired up yet? No, he unlocked the car. And I said, can you pop because the guy went behind the wheel. I said, can you pop the hood for me? So the guy that worked there, whoever it was, he pops the hood and I pull the hood up. And the first thing I noticed about the hood is that it had aftermarket, like, what do you call those? Like little hydraulic struts on the hood.
Oh, yeah. So
Right. But I remember my car had the actual stick, right? And the stick was still there. You can actually use the stick. But the thing that I like pushed the hood up and it just like took up. I was like, well, that's weird. I don't mind doing that.
Well, one thing though, because my 08 M35 has auto struts as well, and I wouldn't be surprised are you for sure that they were aftermarket? Because I think that.
Yeah, okay, because the reason why I say that is because it had the stick still there.
Oh, so that's a giveaway then.
Yeah, and mine had the stick. I remember. I mean, how they wouldn't change the hood struts. I don't think that'd be something they would change going from 11 to 16. I doubt it. I know they didn't change much on the car, but I doubt that'd be something they changed. So it did this. The actual hood stick was there. And I'm checking out the car and I see the intake because it is a modified intake on the car. I noticed that from looking online. I want to see it. And the first thing I want to look at, I'm looking at the intake, I'm looking at the hoses, and you can see where it's a cold air intake. It comes off both throttle bodies on both sides and it goes down into the bumper and disappears. I can't see the filter. I don't know where it is. And so I'm like, that's weird. And then now I'm looking for because on the actual car itself, on the front of the car, they have like a smog check okay sticker that they put on, the dealer put on there. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if it's smog checked, okay, I don't see this. I'm looking for a sticker for the intake, for the carb legal intake. And I did find it. It was on the hood. Under the hood, looked up and under the hood, I could see the name of the brand of the intake, the carb number and the carb legal and all that stuff sticker like mounted on there. So it is carb legal. And that's a big plus because if you have anything modified to the intake, anything at all in California, good luck getting it smogged. I mean, I didn't have an intake on my other Z. I just had modified like Mishimoto tubes that ran from the airbox to the throttle body, and they threw a fit about that. So the guy's like, "Well, I don't think it's smog or whatever." But this one says it has a whole smog pass, great, whatever. So then the guy fires the car up, and I said, I take it for a drive. So sure, why not? I got to get my license, take a picture, copy my license. They do that. If you take a test drive, they want a copy of your ID. Probably if you steal it or something or who knows what. So I immediately get Jacob, get in the car, let's go. I get in the car and I'm trying to get familiar with it, get my seatbelt on, get every kind of like situated, I mean, I've driven this car before, so it felt like right at home. I know where the seatbelt was, where everything clicked, adjusting the steering wheel, because the steering wheel was kind of out of adjustment. I adjust the steering wheel. Figure that all out. Great, let's go. And I reach down for the clutch pedal, push the clutch in, and then I put the thing in gear. Oh, nice and easy. I start letting it out. So I give it some little bit of gas, and I realize, my foot's stuck on something. What's down here? Why is my foot? Why is the? Okay, I'm pressing the brake pedal, but why is the throttle potty? Like I hear the throttle going, but the brakes. I'm when I think I'm pressing the brake, I hear the throttle going. And I'm like, what is going on? So then I quickly grab, I pull it into neutral, yank the e-brake, step out of the car. We've gone like 5 feet from the parking spot. And I get down, I look in the pedals, down by the pedals, and I see it's some kind of like wire cable dangling right above where the pedal, like right across where the pedals would be, like right in the way of the pedals. Some wire. I'm like, what the hell is
There's like
this?
ambient lighting or something like that.
The guy had some kind of like lighting system that's supposed to be like right above the pedals. Super dangerous, kids. Don't do this at home, because when this thing breaks loose, because it will go right in front of your feet. And you want nothing in front of your pedals, behind your pedals, or in front of your pedals when you're driving a car, any car. You don't want a water bottle rolling around, getting caught behind the brake pedal, or a soda can, or a can of peas, or whatever you got. You want nothing in front of the pedals, around the pedals at all. So I immediately took that wire and I yanked it and kind of pulled it back. I couldn't yank it out of the car. So what I did was I pulled it back towards the front of the seat to get it furthest away I could from the pedals. So it's back towards me now, but my feet aren't by it. So I pulled it away. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. But so I say, that's dumb. I get in the car, I put it in drive. I put it in first gear, and I kind of leave their little parking lot there. And it's like the parking lot has like a little bit downhill to the main street. It's like a little bit of a hill. So I went down the slight, dip down to the street, waited for cars to clear. And then I got in, started driving away on the right side there. I got to the first light, and I kind of get familiar with the thing. And the shifter, I'm thinking, but the shifter felt loose. Like, that's where the shifter feels kind of loose. Because mine was like stock, so, but so the shifter felt loose, but then I put it in first gear, and then I kind of like, at my green light I had on Oakland Boulevard there, I, gave it some juice, and I didn't give it too crazy because we're still like a 35-mile-an-hour zone, so I couldn't get too fast. But instantly, the car woke up, and it felt so incredibly fast, like so much faster than my other Z I had, and way much faster than that 350 I drove. And the way that, I guess the shifter was a weighted shifter. So I don't know if the car has ever had a clutch job. I'm assuming it has, but the Carfax report didn't show that. And so that's why I'm thinking the Carfax didn't show any of the modifications they did. And so
I don't know if they normally would anyway.
A clutch
self-done.
My clutch did. If you get clutch done at like a shop, it'll be
at a shop.
It'll be on the Carfax.
Yeah.
And so like anything, a radiator, whatever, it'll be on there. And the Carfax pretty much didn't say much of nothing, but a few oil changes or whatever, And so I'm driving the thing. The clutch felt very easy to drive, very smooth, very light. It was a very light clutch. It was like boom, boom. Shifting felt so easy. It almost felt too easy. And because mine felt a little notchy where you kind of like, it feels a little tight where you know what I'm saying, where it's not like this is,
like you're in it, like because my Z was like that too.
But this one, I don't know if it was a shifter or the combination of the shifter, maybe a new clutch or what he did, but it was very, very, very light. Excuse me. Very light to use. And it was like so easy. I almost could shift the thing with my finger. That's how easy it was.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting because it's like, you get used to either one or the other, I feel like. And like when you're used to something that's like a bit more notchy, and like you kind of, I don't want to say you have to force it, but you really like feel like you're, you're doing something.
Yeah,
when you
and the 350 was very notchy. The 350 was very, very notchy. I remember it was like, he's like, oomph, oomph, to get it in there in each spot. There was none of that. It was like just going right in, back and forth. Almost like, and like even at neutral, it felt like incredibly loose, but it felt looser than I'm like, that's weird. So, but this car has been modified, and I don't know what they did to the car. But once I got it, go down a straightaway where I can get going with the thing and get roll a couple of gears out of it, getting the third or fourth gear, whatever I had in the thing, getting on the freeway. I was like, holy crap, this thing feels so crazy fast. But also, I haven't driven one of these in a while too. But I remember what the other one felt like, and this feels way faster than the other one did. And so I knew it had pipes on the back, like an exhaust, but I didn't know if it had a full catback or just it had replacement mufflers. I don't know about that. I couldn't, the car's so low to the ground, you can't really look underneath there to see, Did
it seem like it was lowered at all? Like
no, I remember mine was low too. Mine was stock too, but it was pretty low. Like you couldn't really see underneath the car unless the car was like on a hill, like a slight incline, and you kind of get underneath and look underneath on the hill maybe. But other than that, like if it's flat surface, it's like I mean, I was looking back underneath there, and it looks like the mufflers were bolted onto some piping, but I don't know if that was piping was stock piping or if it was aftermarket all the way back. That I do not know. And so I thought it was so much fun. It was so much fun driving that car. No check engine lights. No, I mean, the one thing I would say it was a downside. The first thing I noticed when I got in the car was the first bummer. I was like, oh man, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have sync rev. And
okay. Yeah.
and my other car did, right? And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But I mean, it's not a total deal breaker, but it was something of fun to have on the Z.
It's a convenience for sure. And like, even car now that I've gotten used to a car that has that, like not having it would be one of those where it's like, oh man, like that would be great to like still have that feature. But I suspect like if you got it, you'd be getting that heel toe and
or
getting those
what,
crisp downshifts.
my feet are too big. I don't know if I can pull it off. But the I used to drive the Z around, and I put it in that mode a lot when I was in the canyons or spirited driving and things like that. But there was lots of times I just cruised it in regular, because I noticed that it would if you kicked it in neutral, come into a light, the sync rev thought you're putting into like first or second, and it was like start revving like crazy. And so I had to turn it off for those kind of things and stuff like that. But it didn't have that. But the shifter was very, very easy to use and very easy to shift. And so like incredibly, like this is so easy to drive. Like I'm driving the thing and I'm like, oh, this is fast. This is dangerous. This is so easy to drive. Like I can see myself driving this thing. And here's the best part. It's the exact same color as my Z.
That's your LZ? Oh, nice.
Yeah. Exact same color and everything, which is a total trip, And it did have a ducktail wing on the back.
Okay, so just like the sort of flush with the body, but extends out. But
it flips up like a ducktail, which kind of threw me off because I'm looking in the rearview mirror. It kind of blocks the mirror a little bit, and I'm looking back there. I'm like, can't really see very well, and the car's totally tinted like dark from like bumper to bumper. Not the windshield, but everything else too. Which I'm like, man, like the thing about me with cars, I was telling Jacob this the other day, I was like yesterday, talking about that other car, is that I don't want to get pulled over,
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like seen. I don't want to attract the cops. I know like if your car has no front license plate, which is does not no front license plate, tinted windows, loud car, if it's lowered and it's got like the window tint like all around, dude. I mean, come on, you're probably gonna pull over. Maybe stay
let alone if it's a bright color. That's
a good thing. Going for
probably. Yeah, that's the one thing I go for. But yeah, if you got like a bright red car with all of those other things on top of it, like that's you're a magnet for sure.
Right. And so what I decided to do, I told the guy, so I went inside, talked numbers. The guy wouldn't budge on the price. And I'm like, come on, dude. I mean, the car's been sitting on this lot for a long time. I know that because I can see the data, and they've lowered the price according to the data. You can look on some websites, you can see what the price was listed at and like when it got dropped and when it got dropped. They've already dropped it a few rounds already, like twice that I could tell. Yeah. And so I'm thinking maybe they want to play ball. Maybe I'll come not like low ball, but maybe I'll give them like a maybe I'll get not pay full price for it or whatever. And so the guy didn't want to budge on it. He's like trying to say, well, it's a rare car because it's a 370 with a stick shift. They're hard to find and blah 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 all stuff. I'm like, okay. Well, here's what I told the guy.
All the mods, man. I'm like,
that's what's where it worries. So when you mod a car, it worries me. And so I'm like, okay. I told the guy, here's what I'll do. How about this? I would feel more comfortable if I took it to a mechanic that I picked. Because they already said, our mechanic looked at it. Our mechanic said it's fine. Yeah, your mechanic said it's fine because you want to sell the car. I mean, your mechanic probably is like, whatever, we changed the oil, it's great, whatever. Maybe lights work. Okay, great, whatever. But not that I don't trust you, but dude, I don't trust you. I mean, you're a sleazy used car salesman. What I'm saying? So I don't really trust you. But so I'm thinking like, okay, so on Tuesday, when we record this, I'm going to take it, have them. I told them the place. I went over to the place, checked with them first. I told them, listen, I'm thinking about buying a modified 370Z. I need you guys to do a pre-purchase inspection, check everything over. You can, what's it going to cost to do that? When are you free to do it? And he said, Tuesday. Sounds okay, fine. So I texted the owner of the car dealership guy. I said, Tuesday, this address, I'll meet you there. He said, okay. So we'll see if he shows up on Tuesday at the place I suggested. I think if they want to sell the car, they will. And I told the mechanic guy, I said the car is modified, and I'm mostly concerned with like the clutch, of course, any modifications, making sure it'll pass smog because it does have an intake. And I wasn't sure about a tune. You said about a tune because the car did feel crazy fast. I didn't hear any popping sounds on the exhaust or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, because that was, like I said, that was the only thing that would kind of clue like a little bit of a, like when it comes to smog, like, yes, your intake might be carb legal and, to an extent, like your
Right. If they
exhaust
run the
might be fine,
ECU
but
on the thing and they
yeah, if
find
they
out,
run, anything with the ECU or anything, that could be a problem.
That's why I
And
want to take it to a place that can run all that stuff and have them check that. Because they find the place I went over to says they do smog checks and all stuff around the building. So I'm assuming they have the tools to do all that crap anyways and see whether or not if they can tell me pass the smog or not before I buy the thing, then I'll know.
It almost was like, like if you were like real serious, like, like can like smog test this thing now and like.
Well, yeah. Well, I just want them. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what they'll do for me in the inspection. But they're probably gonna do like a visual inspection. But I gotta make sure the car is roadworthy. If there's any issues, I worry about like, the brakes are almost out, or I don't know. I mean,
just some. It's smart. Like I when you told me that, I was like, yeah, that's like, especially giving them that specific, like, I want to know if this thing is gonna have any issues with smog and like, what would it be? Like, is it something easily reversible? Like, say, just get a new intake or whatever, or is it something that really would like take a lot of money to now reverse and get? And back
also, it gives me buying power if it needs a bunch of work, and say, well, if I got to spend another like $2,000 on whatever needs to be fixed, why don't you lower the price by $2,000? And it'll take you to fixed or whatever kind of a thing. Maybe I can do that. So that's kind of the thought process I have with that.
It wouldn't be your only car too, so that's like a big benefit.
No,
like,
I have my
trucks.
trucks.
This would, as we talked about, like having a weekend car, like a more fun car, like having something that is like maybe more modified, even though it sounds pretty drivable as it is. Like some of the things that you might have to compromise on, or maybe there's something you do have to do that. It's not like you have to do it right away, but it's also not your daily driver and something that you
it might be
get done.
It might be my daily. Well, if I do buy this car, I don't know if I've decided yet.
A big
yeah. If I do buy this car, I think that it would be the car that I would take to Cars and Coffee, maybe drive it to work, anything that's kid related or
go on these cool drives.
Right. Those kind of things and things like that. So I think that because it's so impractical for a family car or moving anything and stuff like that. It's so impractical that it's really only purpose of a 370Z is just like one person driving back and forth to work, go on dates or, these drives and things like that. It's not something you'd want to like road trip in, but people do, but I wouldn't imagine leaving the city with it. I can't imagine leaving, maybe go to your place, showing you the car or something like that. But other than that, like I wouldn't like, take it to Vegas or whatever. I couldn't imagine doing anything like that with a car. I don't know. I mean, yeah,
I can see a haul to Vegas though. Like you don't got a lot of stuff, so you don't need a lot of trunk space and cruising with the windows down like for part of the way at least. Like
so it's 150 degrees.
And then while you're in Vegas, like it's a cool car to kind of put around in Vegas, while you're there. But for real like livability type stuff, like if you're like going on a long like road trip, multi-state or something,
and with family too, the kids, it's impossible. Like what do the kids and things like that. So it's kind of like it's not like a. I even thought about when the guy bought my other Z. I thought about getting into if I get into another sports car. I told him I'd probably maybe get a Mustang because it has a back seat because it's more practical.
It has a back seat,
more practical and things like that.
Or the G37s or something like that too.
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking that route when I sold the other car, but there's just something about the Z. There's something about owning a Z, missing a Z, and I think people who've had Zs before always kind of gravitate back to them or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm as a previous Z owner myself. Like I am like itching to get myself back into a Z32 like that. Because that was just the generation I grew up with. But it is true. Like there's some cars that just stick with you. And like Zs are there, like with a lot of people where they've only once and they want to get it back.
What I was telling people before with my older Z and now with this Z, this Z particularly the 370, is that it's like a pure sports car. Like it is purely a sports car. It's it's nothing else, I mean, the way it's been designed, the engine, the way the engine designed, the suspension, the like everything in that car, like front engine, rear drive, two seat sports car, like it's pure sports car, it was like pure sports car. And so, I mean, there's a lot of cars that are multiple different things, kind of like your car,
Yeah, no, and my mind goes straight to that. Like, I could never ever argue that the end cars are purpose built, performance cars because they're all based on economy, 4-door,
well,
essentially
they're also
family
based on another
cars.
car they already have in their lineup too.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
What my mind goes straight to in that scenario too is honestly like I was listening to somebody talking about the Z's in comparison to the Skylines and how the Skylines really are like they were not necessarily purpose built, performance sports cars. They have all of these variants of like 4-door, sedans. They even have wagons over there and like, the different, Skylines. And the obviously the top of the line GTRs were the ones that everybody really wanted. But
we saw one today.
in
Dude,
terms of
I saw one. We saw one today. It was what's the one before the new generation? Is that 34 or 33?
probably 34, yeah, before the newest, yeah, the one we got, the GTR.
Yeah. Whatever that one was, it was that
was
one.
35 or 34.
Whatever Paul Walker had, that one, the one in the Fast and Furious.
34s.
Yeah, it was one of those today. Not that far from the house. Guy was driving around. I'm like slowing down. I'm like, hey, Jacob, look. And he's like, what? He like double take out the window and like we're trying to like drive side by side, but the guy went another direction. But I saw that from the front. I'm like, no, 'cause I think the guy was driving on the other side of the car too. He had the right side drive. And so that kind of a thing too. So that's pretty cool to see something like that driving around town. Like you don't see those two very, very often,
One random story on that. I was driving on the parkway over here near us, and there was a FD RX-7, right hand drive RX-7 that I've seen around here a few times. Super nicely modified, and we were going down Temecula Parkway. It's basically like kind of a highway that kind of goes straight through Temecula, and I pulled up next to him, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like just get a little pull and like hear him pull off. And dude, the thing just took off. Like I heard the turbo's full and like, he let it loose just a little. That probably was not even anywhere near like its limit, but he let it loose and you just heard the turbo and everything and he just took off. And so we stopped at the light and, he looked over and we started chatting a little bit because we ended up right next to each other. And he was like, oh man, like that thing sounds amazing. He was like, hey, you know what's funny is like, I actually have a Veloster in at home. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, so
wow.
So there's an appreciation for the in cars, but I was like all drooling over his car because those RX-7s are like if you talk about like the Japanese like those Japanese sports cars of like the 90s and going into the 2000s like the RX-7, the Skyline, the Z,
Supra,
the NSX, the Supra, the NSX was maybe a little higher up just because of like the price bracket it was in. But like the Supras, the 3000 GT, that never really gets a lot of love.
You know what? I never cared. I thought that was like a Z knockoff.
And it was like a bloated Z. Like
it did.
It did have all-wheel drive going for it though.
But I was like, yeah, well, for me, all-wheel drive, I'm always thinking like, I don't live in the snow. What do I need that for? Like, what do I need that for? So
and from perform like a lot of people will say like, oh, it's a performance, because you can handle better, like you got more grip and things. But a lot of the issues you have with all-wheel drive is that you get a lot of understeer.
Oh
like
yeah.
If you got to corner and drive the car differently on like a cornering scenario than you would with rear-wheel drive because you're overcoming the front wheels doing all of this work, and so. A lot of times, like, there are benefits in the sense where you can get better launches and things like that. But, a true like cornering scenario, a lot of times, like rear wheel drive, all wheel drive,
and donuts, man,
they're going to be about the same.
Make the donuts.
Yeah. Because if you don't, nowadays you have the functionality where a lot of cars can kind of switch it off.
Oh,
like
yeah, I think I see what,
you can change the bias and everything. But older cars, like, the 3000 GT and all of those, it was locked as a 4-wheel drive.
Good old Mitsubishi.
Or all-wheel drive,
Whatever happened to them, huh? Mitsubishi, huh?
Yeah. There's this thing going on now with this whole trend of like, the Han movie, the
Fast and Furious 3.
Where like,
Tokyo.
Han's like, what am I going to do? Let you drive around in a Hyundai? and he's like throwing him the keys to the Mitsubishi
the
Evo.
Lancer, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and there was some dudes in like some thread with the in cars where they were like, yeah, that didn't age as well, because where's Mitsubishi right now?
I don't know, making minivans? I don't know what they do these days. I have no idea.
They apparently are big in the aerospace realm, or like somewhere like in
well, they make those trucks. They make trucks. Don't make those like moving trucks, or those they're like miniature. They made these like little moving like UPS kind of trucks, like kind of small trucks. So Mitsubishi
I
on
don't
them.
know. I probably have seen them around, but
yeah,
I
the Mitsubishi logo on them. When I worked for a freight company, we had one or two, and they were by Mitsubishi. I remember, and it's the Mitsubishi on the Mitsubishi diamonds on there and everything. So they're like little like box freight trucks or whatever, kind of UPS kind of things or whatever. They do that kind of stuff. But anyways, man, I don't know if I'm gonna buy the car or not. I have no idea. We will find out. It's tempting. We will see. I think it'll be a great addition for Cool Cars with Chris. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I got a lot of stuff happening around here in these parts, and
I won't say it won't be cool to see you with the Z, because I know you sent me some videos of your old one, and man, that car looked super cool. Like,
yeah, it did. It did. All right, Courage.
Since you're a local with all these cars and coffees, I'm sure a lot of other people are going to be excited to see you in one too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Pull up. Even Jacob said like at one point, he said, "Wouldn't it be cool if we show up together at a cool Cars and Coffee? You had your Z, I had the Mustang. We kind of park like nose to nose or something, like, or car share parks or whatever, or even side by side, whatever, at the events. Like that'd be super cool. That'd be super, super cool. But he wants to mod his car. He's always telling me how mods he wants to do the car and all this stuff. I said, we'll get your license first, worry about that. And then
let's start there.
Yeah, and then
on the drive, I was hanging with there was a guy who had pretty much almost the same year Mustang as you guys have, as your son has, and his name was Chris. Actually,
it wasn't mine. Was it red? Was it red?
No, it was black with red stripes. Actually.
Oh, okay. So, I think was it a 6-cylinder or the V8?
It was a 6-cylinder. Yeah.
Really?
So, yep.
Really?
So, he's probably been around because he lives in San Diego, so he's probably been around at some other cars and coffees and stuff. But yeah, he told me he was behind me for a good amount of time. We actually got lost together. So we were like one of the couple
buddies.
Folks that we were lost buddies and like just wondering like, okay, where we like we knew we were getting back to it, but we didn't know where we were going to be in the pack when we got back. And yeah, when I stopped off, I started chatting with him, and I think he said his was an 06 or 05, something like that. And yeah, he was like, yeah, my name's Chris. And he's like, oh, there's some similarities here.
Nice.
But people love that. People love that Jenna Mustang.
Yeah, it looks classic. It looks clean. It looks great. I mean, it doesn't handle great or whatever. It has that live rear axle.
He did say that.
Yeah.
he literally said what you just said. Is like, yeah, like it's fun like to drive on the straights, but like that live rear axle on the corners is not.
Not just that, but it doesn't like handles very well. I feel uncomfortable taking turns in the Mustang as fast as I would in the Z. Let's just say that. I mean, the car's got smaller tires on it, and it's Jacob's car. I want to break it, whatever, or roll it over, or whatever it does. I don't know, but it doesn't. It just feels like a regular car, like you're driving like a Toyota Camry or something. Well, but the Toyota's front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive. But it feels like a rear wheel drive, like I wouldn't say like the old cop car, but it feels kind of like that.
Oh, it's like a Crown Vic.
Yeah, not quite like a Crown Vic, but but maybe a little bit. I don't know. But anyways, Urge, I know it's late. I know it's so much fun having you on the show today, man, and talking about cars and cool stuff, man. So where can everybody find out all about you and all your cool stuff? What is your handle on YouTube?
Yeah, no, well, thanks for the shout out. The one time where I get to actually show this on camera, but the Driven Dad, check it out, YouTube, Instagram. Driven Dad 22 will take you right there, and got some fun stuff planned. So yeah, feel free to check it out.
Awesome. And don't forget to follow on coolcarswithchris.com. It is the official website. I got to rebuild the website. Don't you worry. But as of right now, Cool Cars with Chris is available for you to go check out all cool stuff, all the episodes. You can subscribe, you can follow. You can send a message. I think you even send a voice message if you want. So please leave a voice message. That'd be kind of cool. So anyways, until next time, be safe. Keep your car on the street, not in the ditch. See you later.
That's consumer advice. See you guys.
Okay, let's see. And let's see. Everything that was quick. Everything uploaded fast. Probably because yeah, because usually it takes a while sometimes. I've had to take like 30 minutes afterwards. But it's probably because I was doing 4K. And I'm not doing 4K with the freebie here. So the free one or whatever. But Oh, I gotta stop it on here.